Welcome to Pucked Up Hockey Moms, where the arenas are freezing, the group chats are unhinged, and the parenting, well, let's just say we're doing our best. I'm Amanda, hockey mom, chaos wrangler, and proud captain of the Bad Mom Squad.
And I'm Brittany, mom of three, two who play hockey, expert at juggling carpools, cold coffee, and the occasional emotional breakdown in the arena parking lot.
We're here to spill the tea on what it really means to raise hockey kids, from politics in the stands to mental health, bad calls, and everything in between. No filters, no fluff, just the truth. With a side of sarcasm.
And yeah, we're laughing through the madness, because if we didn't, we'd be crying into a damp mitt left in the trunk since last season.
So if you've ever screamed, "Move your feet," while secretly Googling the rules mid-game, you're our people.
This is Pucked Up Hockey Moms. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to Pucked Up Hockey Moms. I'm your host, Amanda, and we have brought back Tausha from Virginia, who we're going to talk about the rise of female hockey. Last time we talked about your playing days and your four boys and whatnot. So what has gone on a little bit? What's new in your world since we last chatted?
Well, I am now, and I know we touched on a little bit about the female side of coaching back then, but I've been officially, it's all over. It's there. I am now the director of female hockey for Bearcat Hockey Elite out of Lockport, New York, even though I live in Virginia. A lot of people get confused with it. And I have been doing heavy recruiting, as you know. All over North America, so not just US based. I've been doing a lot of recruiting out of Canada, really trying to get that cross-border play going. And so that's been the biggest thing, focusing on that outside of the coaching the boys here locally, and then some college coaching stuff also.
That's insane. You're crazy busy, and I love it. So female hockey has changed. The whole landscape, I feel like, has changed, like even from 5 years ago. What's your take on its development and trajectory?
So I'm seeing, over the past 5 years, it's kind of, it peaked, and I think we're hitting a valley again, to be honest. I think we're hitting that downward valley again of female hockey. I'm seeing it a lot right now where girls are hitting a certain age and then they're stopping. Which is crazy. With the Professional Women's Hockey League, you would think it would be continuing to grow and flourish. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. What is causing that? Even locally in our area, girls hockey organizations are struggling. Like, we've got a 12U and that's it. And we used to have 19U and down. Right now we've got 12U. I don't know if there's just mass boy production or what it is that's stopping at that age. Even with Bearcat, honestly, we're heavy in our getting ready for our season, which is spring summer, and we're seeing gaps in ages where we're like, where are these girls, right? Heavily in, my 14U is super heavy right now, right? So many girls there. But then that 16U, 19U isn't as heavy as it should be. And then I've got an upkeep of 10U, which we just don't have yet. So I've got a lot of interest in that. We don't have that yet at Bearcat.
And it's trying to figure out what keeps them, because statistically most girls quit sports in general around 14. I know I had seen someone make a comment in one of the parent groups about we were talking about contact being in the sport and how girls stop at 16. Is contact going to make them stop if you add it? And I wanted to comment, but I didn't, because sometimes I don't like getting confrontational in there. But with the boys leagues or the co-ed, you've got house and recreation, and typically there's no contact. Well, very little. You get called for more in the recreation league, whereas competitive league, there's a lot more contact allowed. It's a lot more physical. And I think if they added contact to female hockey, or more allowed than just the like more checking.
Yes.
Than if you have the same house and recreation. The girls that really want it and are really interested have a place to go. Part of me thinks that the girls are leaving because there is no place to go.
I think that's it. I think the girls want to play that physical game, just like boys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, let's be honest, girls are smaller. So going into a 14 or 16, so 14U here's where checking is starts.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a lot of parents that are coming to me for girls that are playing co-ed and saying, we don't know what to do next year. She's aging up. We don't have a 14U girls program. Do we put boys? And I'm like, personally, yes.
Yeah.
Put her in boys, but understand she's smaller.
Yeah.
But there's ways around that. So here's there's ways girls that are smaller can still play full contact hockey.
Absolutely.
If they're taught appropriately, one, how to check appropriately, and two, how to take a check, right?
100%.
So that smaller stature, it's the same thing you're going to teach a smaller boy.
There's tons of small boys that I watch take hits, exactly. Right?
So it's the same thing. I equate those to the same, right? A smaller boy and a girl, because that physicality is right there still, right? Yeah. They're still there. Girls are strong. They're muscular. Mm-hmm. It's just usually a height and a weight thing at that age, right? And I think that's where it's going down is girls hockey doesn't have the contact. It doesn't have that allure of like playing. Mm-hmm. So why am I going to continue to play in the youth if I can't do that, right? Yeah. Or why am I going to continue to play in the youth if I think I'm going to be targeted because I'm a girl on a co-ed team? And I can tell you from experience growing up, we would have to, there wasn't girls teams then, and we would have to put our hair up into our helmets so that we weren't targeted. I don't think you see that as much as back then, because just girls weren't playing then, right? Like now girls are playing. It's just that once you hit that age, if it's not hockey. I don't think girls hockey without contact is hockey.
No.
And that's my personal opinion. Like, there has to be contact.
Absolutely. And like they play differently. Like when there's no contact, you'll see girls skating down the center ice with their head down. And then when they come to play any sort of contact, they get hurt, right? Because they've never had that fear of any type of contact. And they're essentially playing blind, staring down at the puck. And you're like, look up. You're not aware because you have no fear of it's anyone touching you. And then when they do get an accidental hit because they're looking down and they've never been taught to look up, then they're out of the sport. They're done because they haven't progressively learned to take a proper hit and give a proper hit. And I think, honestly, that should be taught the very first year of hockey. And I don't mean let's go hit some 4-year-olds. I mean, let's teach them how to take their stance properly, how to absorb a hit properly, because kids run into each other like wrecking balls when they're 4 years old, right? So if they think it's bowling. So if you teach them how to stand properly, how to have their head up, how to look into shoulder check like you're driving while going into a corner, and not everyone focuses on that because they're like, there's no contact, right? And they get so upset or so bent in arms about it.
Hockey's a full contact sport. I don't care what age.
It is.
Of that, right?
It is.
They're on knives.
Yeah, they're knives on ice, and they're flying at each other. If you don't teach them how to take it, no matter what your gender is, you're putting your child at a disadvantage. So if you teach from the bottom up, I think you're setting all the children up for success. And the girls that want to just play with the girls, that's 100% fine. But you still need to learn how to skate with your head up and take a hit properly, because otherwise you're bound to get hurt at some point, and then they do quit. So I think it is hard. It is a bit of a dilemma. And I think you've got a lot of parents out there that we'll call it soft, because they're like, well, they're girls, they can't do that. And you're like, well, then don't put them in hockey. If you're afraid of if you're gonna put your daughter back into the 40s where she has no rights as a person, then then don't put her in hockey. If you want to treat her like she's a person and she can play a sport because she's strong and you want her to have confidence in life, then put her in hockey because she can handle it. I promise you she can handle it. Right? Like, I get so upset.
No, and I agree. I think we're losing. I think that's where we're losing it, is a lot of these areas don't have enough girls
Yeah.
To form these leagues of just girls only, and then the parents are like, well, I don't want her playing co-ed,
Yeah.
I think if they understood, if it was across the, I don't believe there should be any differences, honestly,
Yeah.
in either one or the other.
No, I don't either.
I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I don't know what is backing the
Yeah.
hockey gods who make these decisions.
Yeah.
And
Men
but I
make
think
these decisions. Men made these decisions in like the
I
20s.
I think girls and guys or co-ed hockey should have the same exact rules. I
Absolutely.
think you'll still see that difference in the way that a girls team plays versus a boys team, because a
Yeah.
girls team, I think, is still going to be less physical.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be more finesse.
Yes.
And let's look at soccer. There
Yeah.
are not different rules between girls and boys soccer.
No.
Girls
Are there
slide tackle.
basketball? Is there different rules there?
I don't
I
think
don't
so.
think so. Like,
Right? So there should not be different softball and baseball. The only there's different rules, but it's not. I mean, don't get me down that hole on how
I don't know enough.
On how I had to play softball and had to stop playing baseball in 7th grade. But
Yes.
I just think that's the number one issue. I think the sport needs to be across the board the same. I love the PWHL rule, the jailbreak rule. I think that needs to be implemented across the board too. I think all teams should be rewarded for scoring a shorthanded goal.
Absolutely. I think that's awesome. Like, your team outplayed the other one shorthanded, you're out. Like,
yeah, like
amazing.
I don't know why that's not across the board. I think hitting needs to be. I think we would see more girls playing hockey or continuing to play hockey if the rules were the same across both genders. I think that is a major issue with hockey, and I disagree with it. And I've disagreed with it since I played. I had so many. I think last I knew, I still led penalty minutes at my college, and I've been for over 20 years because of growing up playing mostly boys hockey, right? And back then, I mean, you don't even touch a girl in college hockey, right? Like that was huge, like there was zero contact, at least now there's contact. And, it's funny because when I did coach my first AAA game of 14U, I was like, oh, she's going to the box. And I'm like, oh, they're not. They're letting them, hit. But then, a girl would go lay a nice, beautiful, amazing check that would never be called in boys, and then she would get called. And I'm like, it's almost, you're almost letting the same,
you're letting stuff go that shouldn't, and then you're calling stuff that you shouldn't. It's a weird dynamic for sure.
I noticed a big difference between girls and boys is girls are tying the puck up more against the boards, and I don't like that at all.
And they turn their back. They're turning their back quickly.
They're turning their back, and they're just
that's
tying
how they get hurt.
And I think if we allowed hitting, you would see less of that. It was annoying every time a whistle had to blow because the puck was tied up. I think if you allow hitting versus allowing them to just sit there and tie it up on the boards, the girls hockey needs to evolve more. And I think if it does, I think you're actually going to see more girls playing when they realize that I don't have to, if I live in an area that doesn't have a 14U girls team, I can still continue to play so that when I get to college,
there's options.
There's options for me to play girls college hockey or to play girls junior hockey, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the downfall right now is, yes, it's not as popular, and I don't know that it ever will be as, men's hockey, but I think you're losing girls around that age because they live in areas that just don't have enough girls to continue forth, when, the younger girls decide, I don't want to play competitive. It was fun to play, just house league, whatever. And it's killing our older, right? It's dropping those numbers because we've got that gap where there's just not the girls, but because the rules are different, parents are saying, I don't want my daughter playing.
I think it's more parents that are stopping the girls than it is the girls.
That's
right?
how I was stopped. It wasn't because I wanted to. It was my dad,
Yeah. Because I'll say my daughter had, like I've said it before, I think we had this conversation, when you said you led in penalty minutes, the first year she played all female at a female association, she led the province in U13 for penalty minutes because she'd played with the boys and she wasn't doing anything different. She wasn't
just
playing.
More physical.
Yeah. I mean,
physicality.
Exactly. Like she was playing exactly the same, but she wasn't into checking yet. They didn't have it in U13 or anything yet. So it was just, she was playing her normal style, but that wasn't accepted. And she's like, but why? Why can't, I've played with girls on the boys teams before. Why can't they play this? And it was perfectly clean stuff that they're calling. And she was just so frustrated. She's like, I don't know what I did wrong. Right. And I think you also have a lot of smaller boys that won't play competitive because they don't want to get hurt either, or their parents don't want them to get hurt. So they play house as well, where that, again, if you taught the proper ways of checking and stuff, then they'd continue on too, because there's a lot of really skilled kids that just haven't hit their growth spurt yet, that are losing out on the sport because of fear or lack of proper development or the mentality, right? And it's sad to see because there's so much more opportunity, right?
You have a coach's problem there when it comes to the small kids too. A lot of small kids are looked at when you hit these AAA programs. I've got a mom whose son was cut because of his size the first year. He's now made the team since then. And he's still the same size, but because of his size, and she's just like, his size should not determine his skill. Well, we don't want him getting hurt. And she's like, but I'm his mom signing him up. And I mean, I'm telling you, some of my, the college I went to, some of the best players were those smaller players because they can wiggle, they can get through and stuff. So they are not laying the big hits and stuff, but there's that thing too. And I think that's another issue in boys hockey, men's whatever hockey, is coaches aren't taking the smaller kids because they don't think they can handle it without seeing that they can handle it. There's a whole, I can go on a whole nother rant on that.
Oh, I know. Well, my daughter almost didn't make the rep team in our local area for her first U15 and a female coach, literally, who'd played hockey as well, was like, well, I'm afraid, well, can she take the hit? I'm worried about her not being able to do it. And I was like, we're her parents. We know she can do it. We've seen her do it. Don't count her out because she's female. And I'm super disappointed as a female coach that you're counting her out. I think that's frustrating. That's absolute shit. Do not count her out. And you as a female should know that you're stronger than they think. So I don't know what you're saying on that. I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying it, but whatever. I don't care. Don't count out a female because you think that they can't hit. Because now I know you said you haven't, you guys don't know too much about the female super league down in the US, but it's a new league up here and it's checking, but there's no open ice hit. So you have to be carrying the puck, and it's not center ice. You can't hit them unless but you know what? They've been letting it go.
No, it's a good progression. I think I can agree with that. That's fine. Don't open ice hits. Let's be honest, most of those are super dangerous. Those are dangerous anyway. And typically someone's hurt and someone's in a box anyway when you do that. Right?
So the dangerous hits aren't there, right? So, but I would say watching the refs, we just had a showcase this weekend, and there were so many calls. There were so many times where there was hits that I was like, oh, she's going to the box. Oh, that girl's going to the box. Nothing. And I was like, oh, good. Because in boys hockey, they wouldn't have gone to the box either. So it was nice to see the progression. And you've got the girls cheer, and they're laughing and they're smiling when they're hitting each other. They're not angry, which is funny because boys play with hate, and you try and get a girl to play with hate and they don't. They laugh. Which is a whole other story. But these girls are out there absolutely having so much fun smashing other girls. And they're like, that was like the best game. I loved it. It was so great.
Yeah.
That was so much better than playing before.
And that's where we need to progress to, right?
Yeah.
There's
Change
that.
the
You gotta
mentality.
allow it. Yeah, it's got to be allowed. Like, it's got to be allowed all the way around, though. It shouldn't just be a small super league area, and hopefully that'll be something that does progress, because it needs to progress. I mean, you've seen my shirts that say "Let Girls Check." They got to be allowed to. They got to be allowed to hit. I think. I think the skeptics that are worried about it are one, they're going to get hurt, or it's going to change the way the game is and all of the finesse. No, it's not. It's not going to change it. Does girls soccer still has a ton of finesse in it compared to boys soccer, and they can do all the same things. It's not going to change that. All it's going to do is it's going to stop those puck holds against the boards. Yeah. It's going to allow them to play more and play harder. And
it makes the game go faster, and it actually makes for a better game to watch. Like, it was a lot more exciting to watch the female, like these girls play in the FSL, than it was to watch their regular hockey. Like, it's way slower watching female hockey than it is watching co-ed hockey. But now that you're watching FSL games, I'm like, oh, thank God. Like, you're watching it and you're like, this is how girls should be able to play.
And I'm letting them be physical.
Yeah.
It needs to change.
I really hope that this like spreads. Like, last year was the first year, and this year now second year they've added, like, so they've got U12, like 12U, 14U, 16U. I think they're adding 19U. And I just think that it's going to open doors, right? Like, I heard the NCAA D1 is talking about adding checking as well. So, like, watching PWHL is just kind of brought on this whole new side.
D2, D3, and club needs to allow it. That's, I don't agree. I don't agree with stopping it at one. And that's another thing. My theory on playing Division I hockey is not. I have a whole theory of these
tiering.
I want to play at Division I, and it's like, you can still play a Division III college team and you still can make it far. Yeah. You don't have to play D1. That's a whole, it's a whole thing I have taught and I teach and I talk about, and it's actually on one of my talking points when I run my all girls camp this summer is thriving for D1 is great. Yeah. Thrive for academics, number one, because it's a small percentage of you that are still gonna, it's a bigger percentage of you that are gonna make it to the Professional Women's Hockey League than it is of boys making it to the NHL. But go for that academics. Go for, don't solely go because you think if you go play at Michigan you're going to do X, Y, and Z. Hockey still at that age needs to be competitive and fun, but if you're going to change the rules for one, you've got to do it for all of them.
Well, I think they have to start somewhere. You know what I mean? So
fair enough.
where like they start from the top and see how it goes and trickle it down. I don't know. I don't know the mentality because I'm just a mom, right? I'm just a mom who actually never played hockey, so nobody really listens to me. But I've played sports and I understand, and
just start at the NCAA overall level and then you drop down because so many,
maybe they'll do all of it and then move it to ACHA, right? Who knows? Like, hopefully it's just something that spreads, because when you're watching the PWHL games, it is a lot more fun to watch those, right? Like, I think those are great games. It is so inspiring for this generation of girls to see Nurse and Lexi, all of those girls. I'm blanking on all their names right now, even though I know them. It's awful.
No, but growing up for us, we didn't have that. It was you played college and that was it.
Yeah, well, that's all there was to aspire to, right? There was nothing else to go.
A national team, that was, for the Olympics. That's about all you had back then. Was that aspiration. But I think what we need to fix first before we can even get into that is we've got to fix this age gap and this loss of players. And I think it comes down to rules.
Yeah, I think it comes down to the rules. And then I honestly think it comes down from starting at the bottom. Because like when people start at the top, yeah, that's great. But if you start at the top, how have you developed at the bottom? And
No, you got to start from the bottom, the young ages up.
Every development starts from grassroots. And I feel like all the parents start to get involved at a certain age and then like in associations. And so they're worried about their kids from like U15, U14 up. And they don't really focus on the youngest ones, right? And it's always been something in my brain that I'm like, if you start at the bottom, it will trickle up. It will keep them there longer. If you show the investment in the kids when they're 4 or 5 years old, it's just going to keep getting better. You're just building a better generation. And it's awesome that parents volunteer and get on the associations and stuff when they're like kids are involved in the sport. But you still need to pay attention to the entire association and not just focus on the levels that your kids are on, right? Like, yeah, it just boggles my mind that people aren't more focused on the first ages of hockey and how to develop them.
It really starts at that young age and developing them.
That develops their passion and their overall skill and how they take that whole sport for the rest of their life, right? And that is a missing gap for the girls. If you treat them equally and their rules are equal and you develop them the same, they're much more likely to stay in the sport for longer. And then we won't have this gap.
Or even start the sport, right?
Yeah.
Like hockey's an expensive sport.
It is.
Like
it is.
How many parents want to start their daughter playing hockey to know that their local organization stops girls hockey at 12U because they don't have the development? Because again, we're losing those ages because again, I really think it's the physical piece.
Yeah.
I think it's the physical piece. So I think if we allow the same rules in boys and girls hockey, you're going to have more girls sign up to play, which means your girl organizations are actually going to grow.
And they will be there. So you almost have to like invest in the beginning so that you can rise up, right? You might not have that 14U, 16U, 19U now, but if you don't invest in the bottom ages, they're not going to be there later, right? You can't just draw them in from nowhere if you're not investing in the first years. So
yeah, I can tell you, if I knew, like, as a parent, I've got a daughter, but 14, they start checking, she's not playing because she's not going to know what to do, and why am I going to invest the thousands of dollars in her at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old?
That's such a shit mentality, because she will still get so much, like, regardless of what happens when she's 14, those 10 years in between are still amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree. I'm just saying, like, I'm
but
trying
it's
to
true.
think of
It's
like
true.
where the numbers,
yes,
but even areas.
Yeah. I wish parents had the mental fortitude to realize that if you do invest in them now, in 5-10 years, the landscape is changing. And the more people that are willing to take the risk and invest now, the more likely it will grow. So if everyone keeps saying, well, I'm not going to do it because there's nothing later, that's a shit mentality. You're not going to get further.
Everyone does. Yeah.
Yeah. If everyone does it, then there will never be a progression. Right? Like, so if you want there to be something, you put them in when they're young and you help grow it. How is that hard? You think it's a big deal and you think it's so scary, but it's not that hard to just get involved and be a voice and say, no, I think there is a future for this and I'm going to help with it.
And you never know, maybe. Yeah. I don't think our loss of girls in those age gaps is due to them not wanting to play and not having fun.
I don't think so either. I think it honestly starts with, one, the girls might not want to be physical, but some of them, some don't, but they might have been I think it's mostly the parents that are afraid for their children that are getting in their way. And it just kind of goes to our society right now where the parents get in the way of a lot of things for children. Right.
Yeah. And if they have a love for the sport, then they should play it.
Yeah. And I'm not saying people are bad parents. I'm just saying that the way we're doing things is too much of a control, that we're not actually letting our children dictate what they want to do. Have we asked them, do they want to be physical? Or are we telling them they don't want to be physical, so they're reacting to what we're telling them, right? Like, have you asked your daughter if she's afraid to be tough? because I guarantee you, if you treated her like she is fine to be tough, that she is strong, that she can do it, she most likely wants to do it.
Yep.
You know, like it drives me batty to see parents say, my daughter can't do that. Because who's saying that? Your daughter? Is your daughter saying she can't do that? Or are you just telling her she can't do that? Because that makes me feel like we're watching 1950s stuff where the girls are like the women's suffrage movement, where they're trying so hard to be equals, but it's the parents telling them they can't now. And why are we setting ourselves back this far? Why? You're doing this to your children, not like your kids aren't trying to progress. Yeah, I get heated. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I mean, I don't have daughters, so for me, it's, completely different too.
I started with the boy in hockey and watched that. And then like there was girls on his team and I thought it was amazing. And I thought they were great. I would hear some parents being like, oh, she only made the team because she's a girl. And I'm like, no, she's actually better than your kid. So maybe you should just take that into account. She works her ass off. Yeah. So then when my daughter played, I was treated 100% differently. Like not just me, but like my family, like you could tell because the parents were same thing. Like, oh, she's only here because she's the token girl. And I'm like, screw you. My daughter works her ass off, and like maybe some people didn't treat the girls' families that way or treat the girls that way, but they were thinking it and it's hard.
Yeah.
And it's a very different mentality. So to go from being a parent of a boy and watching it just be normal and easy. And yeah, there's some chirping and bullying and stuff along the way. And that's fine. And that's normal. Not fine, but that's just the way it goes. But then to see the whole other side where you're treated completely differently, you're like, this is crap.
Yeah, I get it.
They're just kids that want to play a sport. And yeah, hormone wise, they don't develop the same. Like girls bend at the hips. So if you train them to be smarter, they can like check with their hips and get away with it much easier in contact. Like we're always like, bend your knees, use your ass. Like boys can't do it. They can't bend the same. You can flip them over your back. It's great. Do it. Be smarter with how you train because boys can't bend that way. So there's just different techniques to teach the girls. And they can still be a very effective player, whether they're playing with the boys or the girls. So it's just, yeah, you have all boys, so you see the boys' side. I don't know if you ever hear other parents, because I know you're on the coaching aspect of it. I don't know if you ever hear anybody talk differently about the girls or
because I'm not I'm not in the parent crowd. Also, yeah. I think where we are, the girls that play are treated actually really well because amazing. Most of them.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, in our organization, the majority of our travel goalies are girls.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's a decent amount of female goalies, and I think it's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, where we are, our influx of girls is they're goalies, and that's a huge thing. And so I don't think they're indifferent. I also, I've got so much going on. I'm not around to
hear any of it. You're like in and out. In and out. Yeah.
I got another game to go to. I got something. Yeah. And I mean, the 12U rec team that I coach, I've got 6 girls on my team.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Out of my 15 player roster, they put all the girls on my team with the female coach. Do I agree with that? No. I last year when I was the overall head coach, we had 3 teams. We had 6 girls, 2 girls per team.
Right. And like we had that we had that situation 1 year too. We had 3 young, like it was like 10U or whatever. And all the brand new, they call it first shift girls that came out, had never played before, all went on our team. So we had like 6 or 7 girls, and they didn't have girls on the other 2 teams, or they maybe had 1 each. But my husband was like, well, why are you putting them all on our team? And they're like, well, you have a girl. You're a girl dad. You should understand. And he's like, I don't understand. I don't understand why you're not splitting it between them, because it's actually putting the team at a disadvantage when you're putting he's like, it's the same as if you gave me 6 kit boys who couldn't skate. You're putting that team at a disadvantage, like spread them out between the 3 teams. Right. And I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I love, having the girls have me, as their coach and to look up to and X, Y, and Z. But I do think it's built a different team for my team compared to the other 12U team that is just all boys.
Yeah.
Now, my girls are pretty rugged. You know, so there's that too. I said 6. I think it's 4 actually.
Yeah.
It was 6 last year. I think I have 4 girls. Either way, I have crazy. I can't. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4. One is a goalie. 4 girls. But still, right? Like that's we could have divided 2 and 2.
Yeah.
Right. My girls actually. 2 of my girls lead my team in penalty minutes. So
exactly.
You know?
Yeah. And sometimes they're like, oh, well, they're friends and they want to be together. And I'm like, okay, teams should be based on skill. They should not be based like if you're playing competitive hockey, it's not based on friendships.
Yeah, and
if you're playing
house,
if you're playing house or recreation, then yeah, you can do it based on friendships, but it's still supposed to be balanced, right? And we should be encouraging our children to make new friends on every team they're on. Like we've always said that because we've been in different associations from moving and whatnot. And we always said, like, you're going to make new friends. So yeah, you might not know anyone on this team, but you will by the end of the year. And it's a great experience. It's just a great new way to meet new people. So don't worry about not knowing anyone on your team. And it's a mentality shift, I think, that people need to understand. Like it doesn't.
It's crazy. And now this other team has an assistant coach who's a girl, right? So it's like,
yeah, like, see, they can learn from her too.
Yeah, you know, so, but yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I love my girls, so, but I just think we should have divided.
Yeah. And I know because of your mentality, you likely don't coach them any differently, do you? You teach them exactly the same. Yeah.
None of us coaches do. Like I have a very rough, and I call him rough, but it's not in a mean way. Like I love it. Like him and I should not coach together, because there's a lot of bellowing and stuff.
Yeah.
He coaches the girls and I don't think he has daughters.
Yeah.
Just the same. We coach them the same. There's no difference.
You just coach. Yeah.
Yeah.
My husband always says, because he's done both, he says that the girls listen more. He's like, it's funny because the girls have your attention. The boys are like, da-da-da, squirrel. Whereas the girls just sit there and they look at you and they listen. So the girls react differently, but he doesn't coach differently.
There's definitely that. Like when I went to my first time coaching girls, AAA, hey, we need you to come in and take over the team. Okay, I've never coached girls before. AAA. Okay, awesome, great. This is going to be horrible.
You're like, well,
it was awesome. Yeah, it was awesome because one, there was barely any coaching because it's just games, right? At that level, it's just tournaments that I was coaching because it was Bearcat. But it was like they would come in, I'd explain it. All right, yeah, coach, you know, and go back out. There wasn't a lot of having to re-explain or anything, whereas I can see that sometimes with boys and girls, definitely, again, they listen differently. My girls, you know, I had girls again last year on my my co-ed 10U rec team, same thing. They, you know, they listen, they I don't have to instruct as much, and you know, so it is definitely a difference in that, but I do not coach any differently.
Yeah. No, like, I mean, you don't have to repeat it as often, but it's just like a child who listens more. That's about the difference, right? So, yeah.
Right. Like with my 10U, it's boys.
Yeah.
You know, I got certain kids who I don't have to repeat things. I say it once and they got it. You know, other kids, they don't. So
no, and that's just every child is different. Every child has a different learning style.
It has nothing to do with being a boy or girl.
Exactly. Do you think it matters for the girls to be able to see a female behind the bench, though? Like, do you think that?
I think that helps a lot.
Yeah,
I do. I think it's also helped. So I've been working with 2 men's college teams.
Yeah,
and I think them seeing me has helped too.
Yeah,
believe it or not. A few of them have come up to me and they're like, it's a fresh, different perspective coming from a female coach. You know, so I think on both sides, it actually, it's impressive, you know. Now, am I still, you know, in the good old boys club and, you know, that's frustrating.
Yeah.
You know, being female in a male dominated, you know, still industry. Yeah. Do I have coaches, as I've shared with you my past weekend, right, that have said things to me that they probably would have never said to a male coach because they thought they could get away with it and then realize, like, I've got a backbone. You've messed with the wrong coach.
Yeah, this is hockey. You think that I'm weak? I don't think so. Like you
Like,
think that I approach this?
I think a lot think I'm a parent coach and don't realize I've got a strong background. Not only did I played in New England. Like I grew up and I played in New England. I played across, I played in Canada, it's like they see, I think in the youth world, it's still, we see a girl, it's a mom coach, and yes, a lot of that is in the youth world, but not with me.
Yeah.
So they've got the wrong one.
I mean,
and so when you say something,
yeah,
you got the wrong one. And I've dealt with that. I mean, in our local group, I've told, for our coaches meeting, the guy that runs it, I was like, look, it's just sorry, that's my alarm going off. It's just the good old boys club, and I won't speak up in coaches meetings. And he's like, absolutely not. You're one of our highest, like level certified coaches. You need to speak up. And I was like, but it's the good old boys club. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're not going to
what
listen.
I say. Yeah.
It's and I have learned like some of them do listen, but it's still as a female coach in a male dominated space, it is not easy. Still.
No. I do love that there's like a female coach in the NHL. Like, love that. I think it's amazing. I think there needs more of it because it is a different perspective, right? Like, our brains do work a little bit differently. Right? And sometimes the message is received differently. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's amazing. So I'm happy that you're coaching both male and female. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I love it. I just love coaching altogether, right? And that's the thing, being able to share a sport that I grew up loving, that I played for 40 years, and being able just to see that whether it's a rec kid, a 6U kid, one of the college kids, just seeing that love for the sport is just, that's what drives me.
I think that's what makes a good coach, is a coach that cares about the whole bench and not just their own player. And that's when like you have a parent coach, you know what I mean? You're like, okay, that you can visibly see some parent coaches do just care about a couple players, their star players. And you're like, no, there's a whole bench there. And if you don't care about every child, then you're not doing your job. Right? Like, yeah, it's hard.
I told one of my players this weekend, I said, I yelled, and I know you heard me yell, and it's not at you. It was so you could hear me, but I want you to know I care about you like you're my kid, because you are, because you're on my team.
Yeah, invested.
And so I call them my kids. So when someone's like, how many kids do you have? I'm like, I don't know, 40, 50.
Right? I know. And it's funny, like, as a parent who has a kid play hockey, like when my kid's on a team, I literally consider that whole team that they're like my kids, and I cheer for them all. Like, I do. I try. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, I need to make sure I yell every kid's name. Right? I'm like, oh, I haven't yelled that kid's name enough. I need to yell it more. Or I need to cheer it more, because I do want to cheer for every child on that team. And I do like watching them grow. Like, I sent a message to another mom the other day, and I'm like, I'm just wanted to tell you, your daughter has done so great. Like, she's grown so much, because she has. And it's amazing to watch, to see another child develop so much. It's not even my child. I'm not the coach, but she's doing amazing. And it's amazing to see. Like, how do you not celebrate that?
Parents need to hear that.
But I just,
like, I got a message from a mom today about my son, my oldest son, because I wasn't there this weekend. She just said, I just wanted to let you know his middle school game, and I was like, that felt really good.
Yeah. Like, and I got a message back saying, like, my daughter had a great game, because yesterday's game was probably her best game I've ever seen. And it was really nice to have other parents tell me that, right? Because most of the time I'm trying to tell every other kid that they're doing great. So it was nice to hear it back, because, normally my daughter sucks. I'm just kidding.
No, she doesn't.
But she doesn't. But it is nice. And like, it doesn't take that much for you as a parent to tell another child they're doing well if you see them doing well. And it doesn't take away from your child to say that. So I think it's important as parents to remember that, and to remember to say nice things to other kids that deserve it, or other kids that you think are having a hard time, to say, hey, good job today, because that's needed. I know it's completely off topic. And it is nice to say good job to a coach when you think they've done well too, because the coaches get shit on all the time. So I know you get shit on, and you can't walk into a room without every parent coming to ask you something or talk hockey to you nonstop, right? And
yeah, I went to an NHL game with a group of hockey parents, and one mom and her husband was like, leave her alone, like let her enjoy the game.
Yeah, like, and I know I said it to our coach the other day. I was like, I will do my best to not talk about my kid with you, because I know how much people talk to you about it, and I know that's frustrating. And same with my son's coach. Like, when we run into him, it, like, you can tell he doesn't look like he's trying to avoid us when he sees us, I hope, because we talk about stuff that's not related. Like, how was your drive? How was your vacation? We talk about everything other than our child. If he brings up our child, fine, we'll talk about it. And that's cool. We like hearing stuff about our kid, but we try not to let that be our leading factor, because my husband's been a coach. I was like a coach for like 5 minutes, but like, it's something that people take for granted.
It's nice to be humanized.
It's nice to be a human.
Treated as a coach.
Yeah, and they're just sitting there sometimes, and they just did a game, or they're preparing for a game, and they're still a human, and they can be talked to about something that's not that sport, because it's frustrating. So be nice to your coaches, people, and talk about not hockey. Not hockey. Yeah.
No, I do. I'm lucky this season. I've got a special group of parents for sure.
That's great.
That I do feel that from, right? Like, how are you doing? You know, X, Y, and Z. So it is nice to have that. But I've also had the other way around, right? Like, I'm just the coach. Like, I'm not a human. So I am lucky this year to have a special group for both my teams of parents that. And do I still not feel like I'm in the mom's club? Of course, and I'm not.
It's hard, because you got to be careful what you say, and
it's a path I've chosen, and I did a post about this yesterday. Right?
Yeah,
it sucks. It feels lonely when you feel like you've been left out of group plans and stuff like that, and but it's the path I chose to be a coach, and so that path is there, but still feels good to have.
Yeah, it's like, it's your job, right? But it's not just who you are. So it's like if you were at work all day and you came, and everywhere you went, people only talked about your work. You're like, no, dude, I'm still a person. Like, I'm still here. I'm still me. How about you talk about me or my kids, or
just
something different?
Coaches need to be humanized.
Yeah, like anything else that's going on in the world, right? And so, I'm just throwing a bit of a PSA out there, right? Because it's human to be selfish, inherently selfish, not even realizing it. So you're only thinking about your world. But you have to remember that the coaches have to worry about everyone else's world, and to try not to take that advantage. So, that's the end of my PSA. Well, thank you for coming on and talking about female hockey. I know it's something that's definitely a hot topic going on. So I know there's going to be many more conversations and many more things
out there. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I'm here for it. You know that.
I know. That's why I was like, who can I talk about female hockey with? Tausha, obviously.
I'm here for it. Yeah.
She might have 4 boys, but she has all the female knowledge. So thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, I love it. You're welcome. Thanks for having me. We will
definitely have to have another one. So
I'm always here.
I know. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us this week on Pucked Up Hockey Moms. We seriously appreciate you listening, laughing, and surviving the hockey mom life right alongside us. Whether you're in the stands, stuck in carpool, or hiding in the rink bathroom for 5 minutes apiece, we see you, and we're right there with you. This episode was proudly brought to you by AAA Hockey Recruiting, your go-to for player development, showcases, and getting noticed at the next level. Whether you're aiming for junior, prep, or NCAA, they've got the tools, the know-how, and the hookup. Check them out at AAAHockeyRecruiting.com and tell them the Bad Mom Squad sent you. Until next time, stay loud, stay proud, and stay a little bit pucked up.